Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and maintenance. Today we're going to talk about a very fundamental and pivotal tool in your weight loss and weight maintenance, and that is compressed eating window or intermittent fasting. Now, before we begin, if you need help with your weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. My rates are very reasonable. Also, check out my website. There's a lot of articles and recipes that might be useful to you. Check out my podcast. And then lastly, if you appreciate my content, please make a donation via El PayPal. All right. Now, fasting is something that we're going to talk about a lot in this channel as the episodes start unrolling out. And I hope to have 120 episodes by New Year's. But I thought fasting should be one of the top 12. So I have a playlist called the Foundational Series, and there's probably going to be, I don't know in the future how many, but these are the crux of long-term weight loss. And so you'll see the title of the video, like Purge All Alcohol, and then you'll see Foundational Series. And also I have it next to the words, and also I have a playlist called the Foundational Series. So if you see a video in the Foundational Series, in my humble opinion, it's exceedingly important that you follow this thing. So this one will be there. Now fasting, we'll have a couple episodes. I'm going to do a future episode, because I like to keep these videos 5 to 10 minutes, on how I've been fasting. And I've been daily fasting every day since 2014. So I'm rolling around on 8 years. I haven't eaten breakfast in 8 years. And I love it for a variety of reasons, but we won't talk about it too much in this video. Humans are meant to fast. If you look at our Paleolithic ancestors, they fasted, feast or famine, all the time. So our body is equipped for fasting. So this idea that I was raised, well, you got to eat every 3 hours. You've heard this, you got to eat every 3 hours, keep your energy up. It's nonsense. Our body is meant to handle periods of not having food in being ingested. It is quite normal for our body to handle that, unlike large amount of wheat-based products and dairy, which our body is not equipped to handle. So why should we fast? Okay, so look, I could tell you the medical reasons why we should fast. It slows down autophagy, which is cell destruction, so it's good in that regard. It helps with insulin resistance, so it's good to prevent diabetes. It leads to a lot of cognitive benefits. But I would tell you, for your sake, the most important reason why fasting is beneficial is that it burns your fat. So in short, the way it works is this. The body's preferred source of energy is glucose. And the body will use up glucose first. And so when we eat food, and remember, glucose can be simple carbs, complex carbs. You can get it from bread, from legumes, from pasta, I mean anything. Even vegetables are going to have carbs. Fruit's going to have sucrose, which is a form of glucose and carbs. So what the body does is that when you eat sugar, any of those aforementioned, it's going to release insulin. Insulin's job by the pancreas is to essentially open up the organs and your liver so that glucose can get out of the bloodstream where it can be dangerous. That's the issue with diabetes, and gets shunted off to the aforementioned organs and so forth. And that's what insulin is. Insulin is essentially a key that allows all these things to be open. So then glucose is shunted to your muscles, to your organs, and your liver to be used by the body throughout the day to burn energy. Now, when your body runs out of glucose, it's not like you're just going to drop dead and die. Again, Paleolithically, we're wired and equipped to deal with this situation. So when the body runs out of its glucose reserves, whether it be the muscle, and really it's really in the liver in the form of glycogen. Think of the liver as the gasoline tank. So the liver is kind of the last thing to go. It'll release all of its sugar to be burnt by the organs and by just the body in general, because we burn a lot of calories just by being alive and certainly being awake in movement and all these things like that. So when you run out of glucose, the body just turns to the fat reserves to turn that into essentially glucose to energy. And we call that ketosis. We call that ketogenic. So when you are extending your fast, your body has to tap into the fat reserves to use that as energy. Now, it's not the preferred source, so when you eat again, it's going to go to the glucose, but it is a backup system, so to speak, for the body. So when you're compressing your eating window, or if you go for, let's say, 24-hour, 48-hour fast, which I wouldn't recommend early on, okay, start slowly. When you fast, and let's say you get to 12 hours of not eating, and typically most people who IF are going to be fasting during the sleeping hours. It makes sense. So their eating window is going to be, they might be doing an 18-6, which is pretty common. So they might be eating from like 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. So because the easiest times to fast is when you're asleep. So really you just have to skip breakfast. So when you wake up and you're at 12 hours, the benefits of fasting begin, and they really go longer, the benefits, the longer you're not eating. Now, when you're fasting, you do need to hydrate, and the way I've always done it is I'll drink a lot of tea. I drink a lot of tea, so it's mostly just tea and water, and I drink my tea straight. I've never been a person who puts milk or sugar because that would break your fast. Now, there's different studies as to how many calories would break a fast. So if you guys want to put a little honey in your coffee or tea, really, there's different people who say different things. I just drink everything plain. But as you prolong your fast throughout the day, you get more of the benefits of it. So ideally, you want to prolong it to, and we'll talk about this, like the ways I do it and the ways other people do it. But at least try to do 18 hours because you're burning into those fat reserves. So fasting is a great biohack. It's not foolproof, but it's certainly a tool that you should use to help with your weight loss. Because unlike, let's say, the ketogenic diet, some people can't handle keto. Their body just rejects the kind of like no carb or even low carb version of keto, the kind of the carnivore diet. But with fasting, most people can handle it. And you will have a transitional period at the beginning, especially if your body is just so used to having glucose in it every 3 hours. Your body will be sluggish. Like when you're trying it for the first time, if you've never done it, like from delaying your first meal, even at the beginning, just try it an hour. So if you eat at 8 a.m. every day, try to move it to 9, you're gonna have hunger pangs. You're gonna have an energy drop lots of times. And you just kind of suck it up and just try to get, every day, just 30 more minute blocks. And then you'll notice probably within a week, and I'm trying to remember for me, but it's been 8 years, so I don't remember. But probably within a week, your body adapts. And let me tell you, and I'll talk about this in my future episode, the time where I'm fasting, like right now, I record my videos in the morning. It's like Bradley Cooper in the movie Limitless. Remember that movie he did 10 years ago where he finds an experimental drug and he's like, he can see all these things. When I am fasting, my cognition is top notch. My workouts are top notch. Everything is top notch. And you'll notice that. So at the beginning, you're going to have kind of like brain fog, and you might have lack of energy, and you're going to be just kind of grumpy, hungry, what do they call it, hangry? Eventually that's going to go away, and you're going to enter this kind of like nirvana state where your body is adapted, and you're going to feel really good. So I wish I had this tool back in the 90s. Of course, we've been fasting since the beginning of time, but it wasn't really in the zeitgeist at the time. But now fasting, so many people do it. It is very, very common. I remember when I started my podcast, The Awakened Man, back in 2017, I have videos there or episodes there on fasting. And back then, fasting was kind of known like in the paleo world, like Mark Sisson. You look at Dave Asprey, the Bulletproof guy. Like these guys were talking about it, but it wasn't really in the news. And now pretty much, everybody's fasting. I know at least 8 people, including women, who fast because they understand it's a biohack that works. Now, it's not a biohack that's going to guarantee that you're going to lose weight. There are pitfalls that you can do while fasting. Clearly, breaking your fast early would do it. But there are mistakes that you can make during that eating window that will undermine your ability to lose weight quickly by fasting. But if you avoid these and you're still doing the other foundational things that we've talked about, which is proper sleep and moving the body, shocking the body, and eliminating alcohol and liquid calories and all these things, fasting is a tool that will work. And it honestly, the other big tool that people use when they're morbidly overweight is bariatric surgery. Of course, obviously fasting is a better tool than the bariatric surgery for the obvious reasons of bariatric surgery being an invasive surgery also doesn't always work. The lap band can break. There's higher rates of mental health and depression issues and all these issues that we'll talk about in future episodes about. So guys, post in the comments. Let me know if you fast, if it's worked for you, if it hasn't worked for you. Love to hear from you. Check out the pack episodes of the foundational series. Hit the notification button, hit the like button right now because it'll help this channel to grow. Post a comment. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.